Hey, Safari Showdown contestants. I see you are trying to earn that zebra badge. Okay, so in order to earn it, you need to create a Being a Relentless Learner Google drawing. With that drawing, you need to include a bitmoji, your name, and then your 4 to 5 sentence explanation of how you will be a relentless learner. Remember, relentless means to be persistent, to not give up. So here's what I wrote. I will be a relentless learner because my students and co-teacher, Miss Harvey, are depending on me. I will accomplish this by never giving up, which means I may need to ask for help. I will continue to seek out new strategies for learning so my students are engaged and active. I will consistently provide student-directed learning activities. I will be willing to try new things and be open to feedback to always make improvements. So let's get started. First, you need to be in your drive. Next, you will click on the New and you'll see you have a drop-down menu, but notice Google Drawings is not there. As soon as you hover over More, it creates another drop-down menu. You will see Google Drawings. You click on it and you have a brand new Google drawing. First things first, always name it. Name every document. So being a relentless learner. The next step is if you want it just a little bit wider, sometimes I change my screen. So I go to File, Page Setup, and I just change this to a widescreen. Then I feel like I have just a little bit more room to work with. So next step, we have to get our bitmoji. Then you're asking, well, how in the world did you get your bitmoji? Simple. My smartphone, I just chose my bitmoji from the app, and I went ahead and I shared it into my Google Drive. Now you're going to ask, well, Ms. Schaefer, why do you have Google Drive on your phone? Well, let's remember, we use these Google G Suite apps all the time. So why wouldn't I? I can access anything in my drive. I have Google Slides, Google Photos, I have Google Keep, Google Calendar, Google, you name it. I want to make sure that I can always access everything right in the palm of my hand. I will keep pushing you to do that. They're free apps. Okay. So in order to get my Bitmoji, I'm going to come up here to these options and I will scroll over to Insert. First option under Insert, is Image. Click on that and I have another drop-down menu. I told you I shared it with my drive. There's options, of course, of taking what's ever been uploaded from your computer. So I click on Drive. You will see a lot of my Bitmojis and things like that I've already shared to it. I'm going to scroll to find the one I want to use. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can click on the image and drag and drop. But also, as soon as you click on it, you get the blue screen at the bottom, and you can also just click on Insert. Okay, so I have my Bitmoji. I've got the blue square around it. I'm just going to kind of move it, a little more space to work with. I'm going to size it to what I think will work for me. If you look at the bulletin board in the back of the room, you'll see that the 2 teacher model samples are already hanging up. So go by that. Okay, so I have the size that I want to use. Next is I need to get my name on there. So what I did was I used word art. There's 2 different things you could do. You could use word art, or if you'd rather, you could insert a text box. I have my plus sign. I'm just going to drag, and a text box is created. I just type my name in it. So that's one way. Another way is to go to the Insert and choose Word Out. I'm going to type my name in, press Enter, and there it is. So by default, this is what you're going to get. You'll get the Arial font, you'll get that blue shading, all things that can be changed. If I click on the Arial font, I have more choices. So let's say there's a font in there that you don't see that you want, there's always more fonts. But remember, your time is limited. I'm going to click on Lucky Sky. That tends to be the font that I go for. I told you, you have that blue. Well, I'm not real keen on that. My favorite color is purple. So I want it changed to purple. Again, I have my blue outline. I click on any of those little squares. I can adjust my size. I can move it. And again, still just kind of figuring out my size. Okay, so I have my 4 arrows and I want to try to center it. Now you see that red line that appears? Now I know I've centered. Right? So again, that red line just helps me figure it out. So there I have my Bitmoji and my name. Last step is to now type up my 4 to 5 sentences explaining how I will be a relentless learner. So as I showed you before, you need to insert a text box. You can do it this way. You can also go to Insert and click on Text Box. Okay, so a couple different ways. So click on Text Box, there's my plus sign, and I make my box. Next step, I begin typing. I type my 4 to 5 sentences explaining how I will be a relentless learner. Simple as that. So get this completed. Make sure you show a Safari tour guide, one of those game designers, Miss Harvey or myself, in order to show that you've completed this activity. Get the whole team on board. Get that zebra badge. Best of luck, guys.